Hey, hi, good morning, y'all. Thank you for being here. As always, I have been talking about a lot of different concepts in life and a lot of things that all of us deal with or struggle with and things of that nature, right? So, one of the biggest things I want to talk about this morning is forcing results. It's easy for us to want something. And it's easy to then try to force those results. I'm still struggling with a lot of things in my life. I'm still wondering, what should I do with this? What should I do with that? How can I get the end result that it is that I'm searching for, right? As we all are, we're all humans. That's, part of living is figuring out what we want and how do we get there, right? Or how have we gotten to where we are so far? So, forcing things. The more we try to force a certain result, the less of that result we're going to get. We can go back to the up and down the little pendulum thing that I did yesterday, right? It's like I challenge y'all to have goals or to start making changes in your life with the end result in mind. Okay? What is it that you want? If you are not happy with your job, then change your job. These are some examples. If you are not happy with your image and the number on the scale, well, then change what you eat, change how you exercise, make changes to get different results, right? However, I know, again, I am my own worst enemy. And sometimes I want a certain thing, right? And I try to figure out how to get that certain thing, whatever it is that I want. But sometimes that's not where I'm meant to be, or that's not what's going to be the best for me. So I'm going to go back to my notes here. Force. The definition of force is strength or energy as an attribute or physical action or movement. It can also be defined as a compulsion, especially with the use or threat of violence. Make a way through or into by physical strength. Or you can make someone do something against their will. You are forcing results. I think about how I parent my kids. And I tell them, you have to blah, blah, blah. As soon as I tell them you have to do something, they're off running away. They don't want to do it anymore. Which we do this to our own selves. If I tell myself I have to quit smoking, all I hear in that sentence is smoking. So I want another cigarette. If, I tell myself I have to lose weight, all I hear is lose weight. And then I want to go eat something because then I feel guilty for the fact that I'm in this position to begin with, right? However, if we start, rewiring our brains and we focus more on the end result of what it is that we really want, we want to be healthier, right? We want to be happier. We want a better relationship with our kids. We want our kids to be more educated. We want the best for ourselves and for other people around us. I'm sharing this channel with y'all because I want to spread more happiness. Okay? Focus more on what it is that you want. And then figure out what you need to do to get there. Right? I've had this conversation with someone else really important in my life, and she looked at it the complete opposite way. She looked at it as, well, if I don't have to do anything, I'm not going to. I think she looked at it that way because she's never had to. There, were positions in her life where other people always did it for her. So no, she didn't have to. And, these are all words. It's all just how your brain works. Your brain is going to work differently than my brain is. But the hope is that you can start to focus on whatever it is that you want out of life. It's your life. It's not my life. I'm here living my life, sharing with y'all how I'm getting to where I want to be. That's all that this is, right? So back to force. This is the silliest example that I can give y'all, but here is just a box left over from Christmas that a wonderful lady gave me some really cozy, fuzzy pajamas in, right? And if I force this pen to go through this with, what did I say? What's the definition? Physical strength. I'm not really pushing very hard, am I? So it's not really going through it, is it? It's not going through it because I'm not giving it much physical strength. However, the more that I force this, the harder it is to get through it, right? I can still get through it. I could still get to the other side to get what I wanted, which was to get to the other side. However, sometimes we get so focused on this little spot right here that we then don't look at the bigger picture. And we then don't realize, hey, I could have just gone around. And I would have got the end result that I wanted anyways. Right? So all I'm saying is that I'm challenging y'all to stop forcing certain results. And by stop forcing certain things, you then will get what it is that you really wanted to begin with. Isn't that such a concept? Right? It's like getting a certain job. Okay? I was bummed out because I did not get a specific job at a specific location. However, there are more coffee shops. There are more pastries out there. There are more choices. Which, let me read you the definition of choices. Choices is an act of selecting or making a decision when faced with two or more possibilities. The world we live in nowadays has so many choices. So many choices because there are so many people on this earth, right? Whatever changes you are starting to make in your life, when you come to a roadblock, I challenge y'all not to force it. I challenge y'all to just take a step back. Talk to somebody else. Get someone else's perspective on it. Gather the information. What it is that you really want. Right? And by focusing more on what it is that you really want, you'll see that there are other choices on how to get to what you really want. This goes back to the serenity prayer that I talked about. What control do you have and what control do you not have? You cannot make other people do certain things. You just can't. However, the more that you stick to what you believe in and the more boundaries that you put up and all these things like that may be foreign to you that you have not done in the past, because I know I have not been very good with boundaries in the past, the more that I am seeing people change around me. And this is another point I wanted to make. The more you change, the more things around you will change. And the more you stay the same, the more things around you will stay the same. It all breaks down to Newton's law of motion. Right? Science. It's scientifically proven. Things in motion stay in motion unless acted upon by another force. Gravity brought that thing back down, right? Things at rest stay at rest unless acted upon by something else. I'm the one that's moving this pen right now. If I was not, it would just sit here chilling. And that's what we are in this world, right? So I'm finding that the more changes I have made, the more things around me are changing. And that's a great thing. And the more that we don't do anything to change anything, the more we're going to keep getting what we're getting. It's just that simple. It's very easy for me to sit here and talk to a screen. I'm staring at myself right now. However, it would be very difficult for me to be saying all these things in front of 100,000 people. Which, you know what? That's my goal. My goal is really to be like a motivational speaker, a life coach, or whatever it is. I don't even know where I'm going to end up. But all that I'm hoping by starting and by doing all of this is that I do make more of a difference. Is that because of my story, because of where I came from, because of my past, I can then take my future and use the bad, the whatever I learned from my past to make a better future. I think that's what all of us want, right? Is to just have a better future. Well, it's your future to have. When we have things, they are ours. They are possessions. They are things we have either been given, or things we have bought, or things we have worked for, or whatever it is. I have a phone. I have a phone because I bought it, right? It makes me think of a ball, okay? Something as simple as a ball. Now imagine two kids. Okay, one of the kids is holding the ball. They were given it. They have it. However they acquired the thing, it is now in their hands. The other kid comes up and the other kid wants the ball. The other kid wants the ball because they really want the happiness that they see the first kid has because of this thing. It is more fun to throw a ball back and forth. Both of the kids will have fun with it. Right? However, sometimes in today's world, now the other kid comes up and they just take it from the first kid. And the first kid's like, that was mine. What are you doing? And the second kid's just like, well, you have to share. But the first kid didn't willingly give it to the other kid. That's the difference, right? You can force your way in and take that ball. But then you're just going to be left alone with the ball by yourself anyways, and you're still going to feel miserable. However, change the situation. Kid 1 has the ball. Kid 2 walks over and says, hey, can I have a turn with that? That looks really fun. And they start throwing it back and forth. And next thing you know, you got two kids smiling and having fun. Right? It doesn't matter who has the material object. Doesn't matter. What matters is how that material object makes that person feel. And then someone else wants to go and they want to feel the same way. But they don't know that. They just see the kid with the ball. Right? These are all the things that I am learning. If you force your way into something, into somewhere, you force someone to do something, they're not going to want to do it. Or you're not going to get the results that were meant for you. I've kind of steered away from God a lot because I'm scared. I'm scared that some of y'all might be scared of it too. I think as a kid, a lot of people were forced to go to church, and then they saw godly people doing ungodly things, and now they don't believe. Whatever you want to call it, your higher power, the earth, Mother Nature, God, I believe it's God, right? Whatever you've been taught in your past may not be really what it is. But the more that you learn about it, the more that these concepts start to click, the more you can understand. So I'm just going to read you something. And it says, the heart of man plans his way, but the Lord establishes his steps. And that's from Proverbs 16:9. We decide we want something. This is what we have been talking about this whole video, right? We decide we want a job. We decide we want to lose weight. We decide we want our kids to go to college. We decide whatever it is we decide we want, right? If it's truly something that will benefit us, God will make a way for you to get it. He wants good. He wants good for you. He wants good for me. He wants good for all of us. But the more you force the results, the more bad things you do, the less he's going to want that for you too. It all boils down to the good and the bad. It all just boils down to what are your true intentions, right? The other day, my mom and I went to the grocery store, and she was in a rush. She was forcing getting her grocery shopping done because we did not have a lot of time. However, she needed groceries, and her day was filled with other priorities, right? So as she's going throughout this store, she kept saying, I'm sorry. She kept cutting people off. I said, Mama, take 2 more seconds to watch around you, and if you look at the bigger picture, you won't be cutting people off. Stop forcing what it is that you want, and you won't have to say, I'm sorry. You won't feel ashamed for your actions, right? Because you'll still get what it is that you want, but now you didn't cut anyone off. Now you don't have to say, I'm sorry. Now you don't have to feel a certain way. And the end result is still that you got your groceries and you left in a timely manner. It all just boils down to if it's really truly something good for you in the first place, God, Mother Nature, the earth, your higher power, angels, spirits, good, whatever it is that you believe in, will help provide you the way to get to that. On the flip side, I had someone message me on Instagram, and they were telling me, about their story or whatnot, and he was just like, I don't want to start over. And I was like, I don't want to start over either. None of us do. I wish I wasn't where I was right now either. But you know what? Maybe if I would have listened way back then, I wouldn't have ended up on the path that I ended up to get me to where I am now. Because I prayed way back when I was in the abusive relationship, and he gave me the answers. And I chose not to listen. I chose to force it. I chose to force the relationship. I chose to stay in something that was not good for me. I got a lot of good out of it. I'm so grateful that I have 2 kids from it. Don't get me wrong. There is still good that came from it. However, if I would have listened 12 years ago when I started asking for advice, I wouldn't have ended up with 12 years of hurt and misery and pain. So it's not starting over. It's just resetting. It's just finally getting onto the path that you were meant to be on in the first place. I don't know. I don't know the man's story of how he ended up where he did. He was just sharing a few things with me, but that's how I looked at it. Because that's how I look at my life. I'm not perfect either. Far from it. I think I say that every video because I just want that to be known that we are all just human beings. We are all just bodies. And no body is God or Mother Nature or the earth or the spirit or the good or the bad. We cannot be. because of where it all started way back when. And that's not our fault. But we are still who we are. We're here for a reason, right? I hope something that I said today makes a little bit of sense. And I hope that y'all can start making some of these changes and stop forcing the end result. In some of my other videos, I said, how do you get other people in your life to where they want to be too? You be the example. Be the example. You can't just tell them what to do. You gotta be it. And that's what they will learn from you. And all I want to do is just be the example. I want to just learn these things, let God speak through me, and that's all that it is. And hopefully I learn from the mistakes that I make too, because I'm still going to continue to make mistakes because I'm still just a body, right? Thank you. Thank you very much for listening.